Assalamualaikum guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to start the next topic, that is appendicular skeleton. Our last topic was axial skeleton. If you have not studied the axial skeleton, then I will give the link in the description box. You can study them. So start the appendicular skeleton. First of all, we have to know that which parts of the axial skeleton or which contents of the axial skeleton we are going to study. In this lecture, you will learn about the definition of an appendicular skeleton. Next, the number of bones of the appendicular skeleton and the parts of the appendicular skeleton. So let's move to the definition of appendicular skeleton. Here is the definition of appendicular skeleton. The portion of the skeleton of vertebrates consisting of bones that support the appendages is known as appendicular skeleton. This means it is a portion of skeleton and it is related to vertebrates. The vertebrates are the organism having vertebral column. And the bones, which bones will include in the appendicular skeleton? The bones that will support your arms and hands, and your legs and feet will count in the appendages. So the total number of bones in the appendicular skeleton will be 126. We will go through these bones one by one. The parts of the appendicular skeleton are four. The four parts of appendicular skeleton are pectoral girdle, that is also known as shoulder girdle. The shoulder girdle or pectoral girdle means the portion of the bones that is accompanying your shoulder. Then the second part is the forelimb. Forelimb means your arm and your hand. Means your upper limb of the body is the forelimb. The third part will be pelvic girdle. Pelvic girdle means the hip girdle. The bones that is constituting your hip region are pelvic girdle. And the fourth part is hind limb. Hind limb means your leg and your foot. The bones present in your leg and feet will included in hind limb. In this video, you will know about two parts of the appendicular skeleton, the pectoral girdle and the forelimb, and their bones that are present in the pectoral girdle and forelimb. First of all, you have to know about that what is pectoral girdle. Pectoral girdle is shoulder girdle that the bones that are present in your shoulder is called shoulder girdle. So the bones present in the shoulder are two bones. First one is clavicle and second one is scapula. The clavicle bone, as you know, that it is called the beauty bone or simply the collarbone. That is also called clavicle. Clavicle is mainly present between the sternum and scapula, and in this diagram you can see that the clavicle, what is the function of clavicle? That clavicle is attaching your arm to your rest of the body. So the clavicle is a first bone of your pectoral girdle. The second bone is scapula, and scapula is also called shoulder blade. It is a large triangular bone in shape. You can see this shape. This bone is almost triangular and it is also called shoulder blade. And the function of scapula is that it will help in the movement of arm. You know that you can move your arm upside and downside and at the backward and forward. This is all due to the scapula and the muscles that are attaching to the scapula. So the first portion, that is pectoral girdle, that is also called shoulder girdle, and it consists of clavicle and scapula. And you can see that there are two clavicles in your body. First one is present on your left side and second one is present on your right side. And there are two scapula present. First one is on the left side and second one is on the right side. So The total bones in the pectoral girdle will be equal to the 4. 2 clavicle bones and 2 scapula bones. So this is the first part of the appendicular skeleton that you have studied, that was pectoral girdle. Moving toward the second portion of the appendicular skeleton, that are forelimbs, and this is also known as upper limb of your body, or you can say that the bones of the arms and bones of hands will constitute a complete forelimb. The bones in the forelimb are mainly many types of bones that are present in the forelimb. So start with the first bone. This portion you studied was pectoral girdle, and now you are starting with the forelimb. The first bone of the forelimb is humerus bone. Humerus bone is a long bone that is located on your upper arm. It is a long bone, and you can see that it is present between the shoulder joint and the elbow joint. The only bone present in your upper limb, or you can say that the upper arm, is humerus, and it is also forming a joint with your shoulder, and that joint is called ball and socket joint. This joint present here is ball and socket joint, and this is called ball and socket joint because it can rotate your arm in all directions. You can move it upward, downward, or either upward or downward, or forward or backward, whatever direction you want to move your arm. The second bone of the upper limb or forelimb is radius bone. You can see that this bone you have studied, that is humerus, and the next bone you are studying, that is radius. It is present in the lower arm of the body, and you can also see that there is another bone also present along with the radius bone. The radius bone is present between your elbow joint and the wrist joint. So this bone is also present, but it is present in the lower arm and present between the elbow joint and your wrist joint. You can note that the radius bone is present along your on the side of your arm. Okay, and the second bone you will study next will be present on the side of your short fingers, or finger or small finger. The third bone that is also present in your lower arm is ulna bone. Note that this bone is also present between your elbow joint and between your wrist joint. Okay, but the difference between the radius and ulna is that the ulna bone is present on the side of your short or small finger. And the second major difference that is between the radius and ulna bone is that the ulna bone is longer as compared to the radius bone, but at the same time it is also thinner bone. Both radius bone and ulna bone that is present on your lower arm are forming the hinge joint at elbow. Hinge joint, this joint is hinge joint. Hinge joint means this joint can move only in two directions. Two directions mean you can move your arm by the help of this joint towards your biceps or from away your biceps. These are only two directions, means forward direction and reverse direction. There is no another direction on which this joint can help in movement of your arm. So you have studied the bones of the arm that were the first one was humerus, the second one was radius, and third one was ulna. Now we are moving toward the bones of the wrist that are constituting your wrist. The bones of the wrist are mainly called carpals. These carpal bones are total 8 bones and are present in the form of 2 rows. The 2 rows, first one is proximal row and the second one is distal row. Proximal row and distal row, we set them on the basis of their distance from the shoulder. As this row is near to the shoulder, so it is called proximal row of carpals, and this row is away from the shoulder as compared to the proximal row, so it is called distal row of the carpals. So there are total 8 bones of carpals present in the human wrist. Next one are metacarpals, and the metacarpals are commonly called palm bones because they are constituting your palm. These bones are present between your wrist and between fingers. You can see that this is your wrist and these are fingers. So these bones are present between the wrist and the finger. The speciality of these bones are they constitute of 3 parts. The first part is head, second part is body, and the third part is base. The head is the swollen part that is towards the fingers. The body is the part between the head and the base, and it is a longer part as compared to head and base, and the base is the part towards your wrist bones. These are also long bones. As you have studied that humerus is a long bone, these are also long bones, but if you compare the size of the humerus and metacarpals, then it is clear that the size of humerus is more than that of metacarpals. The last bones that are present in the hand are finger bones that are called phalanges. These are phalanges that are constituting your fingers. The finger bones are total 14 bones. 14 bones in that way that all your fingers will have 3 phalanges, but your thumb will have only 2 phalanges. So 3, 3, 9, then 11, 12, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then these are 14 bones. Total 14 finger bones. These are also present in the row, as you can see that this is the first row, this is second row, third row, fourth row having 3 bones, and that last row, fifth row, that is constituting your thumb, and these have only 2 bones. But the phalanges are also divided into proximal, intermediate, and distal phalanges. Again, these are also on the basis of their distance from the carpals, or you can say metacarpals. The proximal phalanges are near to the metacarpals, but the distal phalanges are away from the metacarpals. So these are total 14 phalanges that are present in the human hand. You can see that the first row has 3 phalanges, the second row also have 3 phalanges, the third row and 3 phalanges, and fourth also have 3 phalanges, and the fifth row have 2 phalanges. When you count them, they will be total 14 phalanges. Phalanges simply means the finger bones. When you will talk about the phalanges of the forelimb, then it will mean that the finger bones of the hand. But when you talk about the phalanges of hind limb, then it will mean that the finger bones of your feet. So let's find the total bones in the forelimb, and the total bones in the forelimb are 60. How they are 60? Here the humerus are 2. 2 means one humerus is present in your left arm and one humerus is present on your right arm, so the humerus number is 2. The radius is also 2. It is also in pair because one radius is present on the left arm and the second one on the right arm. Ulna bone are also two, one on the right side and the other on the left side. The carpals are total 16. As you have studied, the carpals are 8 bones. 8 bones means in one hand or in one wrist there will be 8 carpals, and when you count the carpals of the second hand, then they will be total 16. Metacarpals in one hand are 5 and in both hands are total 10. And the phalanges are total 14 in one hand or finger, and when you count for both hands they will be total 28. And when you will add 28 and 10, 16, 2, 2 and then again 2, then they will be total 60 bones. So you have studied that the pectoral girdle have 4 bones and the total bones in the forelimb are 60. Here the lecture is over, and in the next video you will study about the bones of the pelvic girdle and hind limb. If you have any confusion or you have any topic regarding biology that is difficult for you, then you can comment the name of the topic below. Thank you so much.